So 5 days ago, we made this video here on YouTube talking about the Columbus Blue Jackets and goaltender Elvis Merzlikins. We discussed his trade request that was thrown out there, the not-so-trade request that feels very weird when you say it like that, but that's kind of the semantics that were used. Because when Elvis Merzlikins had gotten scratched 3 times since December 29th, he went out there and clarified that he's not going to be a backup, but that he hasn't necessarily asked for a trade. This article was back from January 12th, so about a week ago, and if you read what exactly these quotes are, it does get intriguing to see. Being the third number 3 goalie just like this in one moment, that shocked me. That surprised me. But then, talking to my agent and agents talking, we agreed on a new scenario. There has to be a new scenario for me in my career, I believe. Now, spoiler alert, if you wanted to talk about the trio of Columbus goaltenders between Merzlikins, Tarasov, and Martin, Spencer Martin was waived today, so we'll see tomorrow if he actually gets claimed by some other NHL team. Honestly, I think the odds of him getting claimed are not 0, so we'll see where everything goes with that. But shortly after this conversation, where Elvis Merzlikins says that, yeah, I have not asked for a trade, I just want to be treated as a number 1. It didn't get to that point that I'm requesting a trade. It went to the point that both sides agreed that I need a new scenario, or I could be a number 1, or whatever. This was the weird thing about it, which is why we made this video. Very odd. He wants out, or he wants a new scenario, but he's not requesting a trade. We then, since, got ourselves new information. This is an article from TSN a few days after, saying that the Blue Jackets' Merzlikins has indeed requested a trade. This article was later in the week, January 16th, so 2 days ago. I'm really happy for the boys, the 29-year-old said after the shootout victory against the Vancouver Canucks. After my last interview, everybody knows that I requested a trade. Everyone was still here, playing for me and playing for me, and blocking shots for me. This was awesome. I really appreciate that. It wasn't an easy game, and they made me feel better. So, the day after, or not the day after, the interview after Elvis Merzlikins get a shutout victory against Vancouver, he goes out there and says, yeah, everybody knows that I requested a trade, but everybody was still here playing for me, and that was awesome. That kind of says, yeah, straight up trade request. I'm going out there and asking for a movement. However, even though this guy might have been in that position, even though he asked for a trade, we had ourselves even more updates from insider trading. This was from also 2 days ago. So TSN staff going out there and talking about it. It's on the segment here. There's like a bunch of Darren Dreger and Pierre LeBrun stuff. Take a look at the question at the bottom here. James Duthie asks, Elvis wants to leave the building in Columbus, Pierre, but are there any takers? You stole my line, James. Let's face it, you're better at this than me anyway. No, there are no takers right now. The market is pretty soft for Elvis. Why? He's got 3 more years in his contract after this at $5.4 million a year, so I get that there's maybe a mutual desire to have him move on, but he's going to have to play a lot better when he gets a chance in goal to really reignite his marketplace before March 8th. I see this as more of a summer move. I could be wrong. So, TSN insiders, Elvis himself, they're all saying, yeah, he wants out. He asked for a trade. This is a thing now. But everything changes when John Davidson goes out there and talks about it publicly. This was from earlier today on the 18th. Davidson says that Elvis has not asked to be traded. He appeared on the Rothman and Nice podcast today and had some interesting things to say about the Merzlikins saga. This article is on the Hockey News, and linked is the audio from the Rothman and Ice show on 971. And if you listen to what exactly it is that he says, John Davidson was asked immediately about the Merzlikins issue and trade request. I know that he is not asked to be traded. I know that. He also says the team has talked to his agent about everything that's going on and that everything has calmed down. GM Jarmo Kekalainen talked to Elvis about the situation, according to Davidson. The interview mainly consisted of talking about Elvis, his playstyle, his personality, and what Merzlikins needs to do to get better at playing goalie. No better judge of that than John Davidson, who of course was an NHL goaltender in his own right. He is now the president of hockey operations with Columbus. He also said that Elvis was not being shopped. Stay tuned. So that is another monkey wrench in this entire thing. We initially hear Elvis saying that he wants a change of scenery, but that he doesn't want to trade. And then later, after getting a shootout win, he says, yeah, everybody knows I requested a trade. And now the president's like, no, he is not asked to be traded. What the hell is going on here, dude? To help us out, we're going over onto the Columbus Blue Jackets sub because this article was posted, has he or has he not? Elvis has not asked to be traded via John Davidson. And some of the replies, I mean, you could see just the cynicism that Columbus fans are exhibiting in this situation. I really don't care anymore. I just want to watch some awful hockey in peace. This front office needs to go. They needed to go about 4 different times within the last year. This organization is a catastrophe, and we need a new vision urgently. What a clown show this entire thing is. And the funny part is, if you listen to the full interview, it really sounds like Davidson is pretty much blaming Elvis for everything. Now, here is where we get into some, actual information as to why this might have gone down the way it has. Supposedly, Elvis's agent says that he misspoke and that it wasn't a trade request per se. What exactly that means, let's go out there and read this comment thread. What is it? At this point, I feel like they need a press conference and spell out what's going on. Between Elvis's comments to the media taking that and running with all the speculation, I think Jarmo, Davidson, and Elvis need to get in front of a microphone and cameras and straighten out the situation, just so everyone, the team, player, media, and fans are all on the same page. I mean, when the player comes out and says, I requested a trade, I think that really clears up speculation, unless it was a translation thing and Elvis just didn't know what he was talking about. Now, that actually is on the right track, according to some of the sources. I actually sort of wondered if it was a language thing. The way he phrased it on Monday, he was referencing his previous interview where he had specifically not requested a trade, and then it blew up everywhere. I'm going back and pulling my audio from the interview and listening a little more intently to see what I can hear. It just sounded like he requested a trade. I don't know. But here is where Aaron Portzline goes out there and writes in The Athletic that it actually wasn't directly that. Here's a recent quote from his article. Last Friday, Merzlikins said that he did not request a trade, but that he and the Blue Jackets mutually agreed that a new scenario, a new team, would be best for both parties. After Monday's game, Merzlikins said that he did request a trade, and that he appreciated how his teammates responded to that by playing as well as they did in front of him. Merzlikins' agent, Gary Johansson, said that Merzlikins called him shortly after that interview and told him that he misspoke to the assembled media. Schrodinger's trade request, eh? That's kind of funny. So now we're starting to put some of the pieces together. That Merzlikins may have not directly said, yeah, I want out, I want to leave, but there were conversations between Merzlikins and the Blue Jackets where they agreed that a change of scenery probably would be good for both parties. I don't understand how that is not a trade request, but it essentially is a trade request. And then to the media he said, yeah, I requested a trade. And then he called his agent saying after, no, actually I didn't, I misspoke. And now John Davidson is saying, yeah, he didn't request a trade. This is stupid. So stupid. I cannot believe we're having this conversation again about a guy who is or isn't on the trade block, or he probably is, just considering the circumstances here. Maybe not anymore ever since Spencer Martin got sent down. Who really knows? But Elvis may be on his way to leaving the building. Who really knows? He hasn't really been the best goalie this year. .906 save percentage, .322 goals against 24 games played. As we had said, signed till the end of 2027, making 5.4. So as Pierre LeBrun hinted at on the TSN programming, he'll have to improve his numbers if he wants to get more trade interest, because for now, things don't really look like they could be going all too well for a guy making that amount of money at this save percentage. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this entire Elvis Merzlikins thing blowing up in the way that it has. Now we have even more confirmation that he apparently hasn't requested a trade, but still wants out. Very odd situation in Columbus. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think? I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.